Hey everybody, Mark Dannenberg here from Options Moneymaker. Today is Friday, September 1st. Yesterday we closed out the month of August for the SPX Profit Optimizer service, and I want to talk a little bit about our performance. Pretty happy with what happened. Also, I know that we have some opportunities, I think, to even improve going forward, and I'm going to just touch on that here in just a minute. So the SPX Profit Optimizer service is an opportunity for anybody to participate in trading options on the S&P 500 and only allocate 15 minutes a day. We open a trade in the first 15 minutes of the market day. That starts at 9:30 Eastern Time, and the session runs till 9:45 Eastern Time. Now we have a live session that everybody can sign into, actually look over our shoulder as we are opening a trade and generally closing the trade in that same time period. So we've set up this service so that people can allocate just 15 minutes of their time every day and be able to effectively trade options without necessarily having to dig into all of the learning that is required to trade options independently. So it's a limited amount of time, 15 minutes. We also recommend a limited amount of capital risk by suggesting that you use no more than $2,000 of capital committed to a single trade. And then what we do is we recycle that same capital day after day after day through all of the trades, which produces a pretty healthy return against that $2,000 of maximum capital commitment. So we track this based on a $2,000 maximum capital commitment. Our actual capital used during the month of August was $2,080. So we rounded off on one of our trades and we ended up squeaking a little bit above 2,000, but that's not a big deal. We're still focused on a $2,000 capital commitment, which helps us keep our eye on the risk profile of our trades so that we never exceed what we're really comfortable with. So we closed out the month of August with $1,080 of profits for a 51.92% return. That's for 23 trading days during the month of August. Now, we had 9 no trade days. We had 9 days of the 23 trading days where our technical signals told us now is not the time for you to take a trade. You want to stay out. And we did. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a minute because we made an adjustment here a couple of days ago on our technical signals and the way they align with one another. And I believe that going forward, the consensus of our technical signals are going to allow us to get into more trades and have fewer no trade days without necessarily risking more in terms of the integrity of the trade that we're taking. So we ended up with 9 no trade days, and again, I'm going to touch on that here a little more in just a minute. We had 12 wins and 2 losses out of the 14 trades that we did take. We provide a spreadsheet for everybody to track their own trades, their own personal results, because results are going to vary depending on when you actually get into your trade, how much you fill your trade for versus our trade, and then, of course, decisions that you make individually. Many of you are trading much more than a $2,000 maximum capital commitment. Many of you are also trading less than a $2,000 capital commitment. So, of course, the overall results in terms of total dollar profits is going to vary trader by trader. I believe, and I've said this before, that a 3 to 6 month time period is a good gauge for you to track your personal profit run rate. During that 3 to 6 months, you're going to have a mixture of wins, losses, and no trades. That's going to give you a good idea of what you could forecast going forward. It's not a guarantee, but once you have 3 to 6 months under your belt and you have a mixture of wins, losses, and no trades, you're going to have a reasonable idea of what you could expect to see from the future trading. Now, the number of no trade days that we just mentioned prompted us to evaluate doing a minor adjustment to our technical signals. Now, we didn't just adjust our signals and adjust our interpretation of the signals so that we could take more trades and put ourselves at risk more. We still wanted to maintain a very reasonable and high degree of confidence in our trades. We wanted to maintain a reasonable approach to trading, and we wanted to be reasonably confident that we would have high quality trades. So we dug into this as a team, figured out what we thought we could adjust, and then we went back and tested it. if we had applied that adjustment during the month of August, what would our results have been? And the results would have been that we would have 2 no-trade days instead of 9. We would have had 3 losses instead of only 2, and we would have had 17 wins. So the overall result would have been significantly more positive than what it was for August. And I still consider anything above 50% to be a very positive return, but I think we can make it better. So we're pretty excited about that. We implemented that adjustment just a couple of days ago, and we got into some really great trades. But I also want to touch on how quick those trades were in the last 2 days. Very rapid trades in the last 2 days, and it really emphasizes the need to be prepared and focused. When you come into the live session at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time each trading day, you need to have your trading platform open. You need to be prepared to pull up your trade ticket, and you need to be prepared to send your trade ticket when we are sending ours, and get your order filled right along with us. One of the suggestions I have with you is to practice on your trading platform outside of market hours. Practice how quickly you can place the trades, modify and adjust the trades. Now, not all types of trading require you to be quick with your entry, but what we saw the last couple of days, we were a little surprised at how quick the trade developed. We're excited about it because we took some nice profits, but we want everybody to be able to participate. Vast majority of people in the live trading room, based on the feedback we got, were able to get in and follow right along with the trade, but we have a handful of people who said the trade ran away from them and they were not able to get in. And I want you to stay the course. I want you to be patient with this, because I believe it's really just a matter of getting more accustomed to navigating your trading platform and being able to place those trades. Another suggestion for you is to talk with your broker and be sure you're placing trades in the most efficient way. That time is of the essence on these trades. When you are placing the trade, when you are modifying the trade, talk to your broker and make sure that you are talking to someone who actually trades options, and ask them, is this the most effective way for me to be able to place these trades? And some of you have a preview order screen, preview your order part of the order. So you submit your order and then it takes you to a preview just to confirm that you're on the right, that you have it set up properly. Some of you have taken off that preview order screen. Now, I'm not going to suggest that, but I'm going to just say that you can streamline your trade if you remove that, but you should have a conversation with your broker, and you should also be honest with yourself about how comfortable you are doing that. It just saves you a couple of seconds in placing the trade, but there is risk associated with doing that. So approach that idea eyes wide open, and make sure you talk to your broker about that. Also, I want to emphasize this because the question that's come up on a few of these trades: how far should I work the order to fill once you have filled your order? And I am sticking with the same guidance that we provide when you join the service, and we provide you the intro information that you can adjust to within a range of 30 cents. So this morning we filled at $3.80. And that would be a good trade up to $4.10. And then I would still suggest that you get out of the trade when we get out of the trade, which means you might have a smaller profit than what we have for that day, but it is a profit. So that's the guidance that I would provide on that. So when it comes to navigating your platform, or it comes to following along, or it comes to no trade days, there are always minor things in trading, especially with a service like this, where you just need to exercise a discipline of patience. Don't let a single trade that you might have missed out on, or a single day where we've opted to not take a trade, influence you. Again, 3 to 6 months is a good gauge of what you can expect to achieve in a service like this, and I'm pretty excited with what we've accomplished in the first 8 months of trading this in our own live accounts. If you exercise a discipline of patience, you should be able to build solid profits against low risk. Remember, there are 2 key criteria of this service. One is a minimal amount of time investment, which is just 15 minutes a day, It's really helped a lot of people who have businesses that they run, who have very busy jobs, people who are retired, maybe traveling around the world or across the country, to be able to set aside that 15 minutes and devote their attention to trading and making some money. It's also a limited amount of risk because you can choose how much risk you're comfortable putting into each trade. We suggest you start with $2,000, but of course you can start with whatever you want. But whatever it is a measured and controlled amount of risk. Patience is a strategy. We emphasize that all the time. And when we have a no trade day, which we hope to have fewer going forward, can't guarantee that, but that is what we believe will happen. But when we do have a no trade day, cash is a position. So let me take a look at our spreadsheet for August. So we have completed 23 trading days, and you can see the 9 no trade days here that are marked off. You can see the 2 days highlighted in red that we had losing trades. And overall, on the right-hand side, our summary is a capital commitment of $2,000 with maximum capital actually used on a single trade of $2,080. That was actually on the trade that we executed yesterday for a 51.92% return. Our average time in trade is about 19 minutes, and we made $1,080 for the month. So if I take you over to our year-to-date, you can take a look at where we are since we launched in January. And I've addressed before the lower performance in July and August, 54 and 52%, almost entirely attributable to 2 things. One is the extremely low volatility that we've experienced in the last couple of months just made it much more difficult to find follow-through on the trades that we get into for bigger profits. And the second thing is the adjustment that we've now made to the technical indicators, which I think also takes into account some of that lower volatility. So I'm not going to guarantee that we're going to get back into these percentages, you know, the 200 or 300%, but I think it's realistic going forward that we could see better returns than 50%. But that said, what if you could commit $2,000 a month? I'm sorry, $2,000 of capital to each trade, and you did achieve 50+% return. Yeah, the bigger returns are nice, but what if that's all you were able to achieve? Well, at 50%, you'd be making $1,000 a month, which means you'd be making $12,000 over the course of a year on just a $2,000 capital commitment. To me, that's a huge incentive to stay the course, follow along, be disciplined. $12,000 is a great extra amount of income for any family. $12,000 could be a part-time job that somebody has. $12,000 might end up being a bigger amount if you choose to increase the amount of capital commitment you have. But we're just going to stay the course, and we're going to see what September brings now with this little adjustment that we've made. So year to date, with obviously July and August being on the low end of the spectrum, but we are averaging $258.05 per day of profits. We've taken in $38,707.60 of profits, all against a maximum capital commitment of $2,080. Our commitment is $2,000, but we've actually had maximum capital of $2,080. So there you go, 150 trades in total, with 35 of them being losing trades. Really want to emphasize that January was an exception where we had no losing trades, but we anticipate having losing trades throughout the month, and it's very important to know and accept that. So we're off to a great start for September. Here we are today. We took our first trade in September. It was a very, very quick trade. I think it was the shortest trade time held, 21 seconds we were actually in that trade, and we took a $250 profit here. So we're off to a great start for September, and we'll see what the rest of the month brings. If you are brand new to the SPX Profit Optimizer service, make sure you are updating your spreadsheet and that you are paying attention to tracking your own performance. And I would take a screenshot of this and I would compare your August performance to our August performance and just see how you're doing. There might be some things that you need to tweak in order to either perform up to what we're doing or perhaps even exceed what we're doing. One last thing I want to touch on, and then I'm going to sign off here. The P and L column that I added in August indicate whether or not that trade would have closed for a profit or for a loss had we used the bracket order. We teach the bracket order structure and the concept in the getting started information when you sign up, but we're not currently using the bracket order. Now, we may revert back to that at some point, but I still get questions sometimes about that, and I want to emphasize right here, the reason we are not using that is because we are exiting out of the trade manually. In the lower volatility environment, we're just not seeing enough follow through to have the certainty and confidence that we could get out for a 30% profit or stop ourselves out for a 30% loss. So what we're tracking, though, is the days that we exit manually, which is every day now. If we had held a bracket order, would we have closed out for a 30% profit, or would we have closed out for a 30% loss? And so for the month of August, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days that we would have closed out for a 30% profit. And we had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days we would have closed out for a 30% loss, which means you would have made no money in the month of August. You would have been at even, and that's not a very productive thing to do with your time or your money. So until I start to see that the profit at a 30% level is very consistent, we're going to continue to manage our trades manually. We're going to continue to exit the trades manually, and I strongly advise that you follow along with that exit. So if you are not with the Profit Optimizer service and you're interested, just click the link in the email and you can learn more about it. I'll be back next week with another update as we close out the first week of September. Thanks, everyone, for being part of the service. Really appreciate it. We look forward to helping you make money in September.